platform combines generative and specialized AI with the agility and speed of enterprise automation, machine learning, and natural language processing. UiPath will present the session, Harmonizing AI and Automation, a practical guide to responsible innovation. This talk will address the following questions. How AI and automation revolutionize work? Can we ethically utilize AI data whilst ensuring customer satisfaction? How do we effectively manage the profound changes in how our employees work? Which jobs are at risk of disappearing and which will necessitate upskilling? Please welcome UiPath.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you. Hopefully you had a nice lunch. I'm really excited to be here with you today. So I'm going to make a bold statement in just a moment. So you've spent time in your workday here to learn about all of the new disruptions that are available for the insurance industry. The latest game-changing ways that you can transform your business for your business models to the technologies that you can use. These are the disruptions that are going to drive value to create new opportunities, new business models, new ways to monetize your business. They're going to create experiences for your customers, your employees, and your shareholders that are going to change the way that this industry works. And you really heard it from McKinsey this morning. One of the things that we need to do is to drive profitability. So what's the bold statement that I'm going to make? Well, it's that you are your own biggest disruptor. And how? Optimize yourself. 70% of the work that's done in insurance today is still manual. 70%. So if you think about the ways that you're going to adopt emerging technology and change the way that your businesses operate, what you're really doing is carrying the weight of the past into the future. So optimizing yourself means looking at the way that you operate and introducing intelligent automation to reinvent the enterprise. So this is big. 1.3 trillion euros in new value creation is going to come out of intelligent automation. And if you think about how large that number is, if it were a country, it would be the 16th largest country in the world. That's really profound change by the year 2030. So this isn't your grandmother's RPA. What we have here is core automation technology at UiPath that is now infused with cutting-edge AI to deliver a single integrated platform that's going to drive optimization across the enterprise. AI, it's the brain, it thinks. And the automation component, that's the muscle, it acts. So I'm saying that starting with optimizing the enterprise end-to-end is the key to meeting the needs of all three of the major stakeholders in your business, your customers, your employees, as well as your shareholders. So let's unpack their needs and look at what they all have in common. Look at what matters to each of them. What they need to create a reinvented, modern version of your businesses. What do shareholders want? Well, growth, profit, margins. They want you to operate with safety and soundness and manage risk effectively across the enterprise. Your customers, they're looking for personalized services. They're looking for personalized products, speed. They want to be able to trust you and that you're working with them in a fair and equitable manner. Your employees want less friction. Really, they want a lot less frustration is what it comes down to. They want collaborative work experiences, and they want to know that their skills are still going to be relevant in the modern world. So let's find the commonality across all three of these groups. So let's start looking at where the commonality exists across the two. First, shareholders and customers. What do they really have in common? One, speed. The shareholder wants this change to start happening now. They want to start to see the impact and the growth of the business. So do your customers. They want to start seeing your engagement to be much faster with them, responsive times to the needs that they have. They also both want the trust and the safety component to be there for different reasons potentially, but it's a foundational element that's key to both of these groups. Next, let's look at what the customers and the employees both want. They want the customer experience to be top-notch. They need the skills to really be able to work in the modern digital era. They need this to come from reduced friction, both internal to the organization as well as the way that you interact with the customers as well as your partner ecosystem. And then we have the shareholder and an employee. Are they at odds with each other? I don't think so. Productivity is important to both of them. Efficiency is important to both of them. Both of them want to see their companies grow. They both want to feel like they're relevant for the new insurance market that we're going to continue to build and evolve into. And so when it comes down to it, we have a couple of really core components that are important for all of these groups. What are they? Intelligence is one. We hear a lot about AI and the role of AI, particularly generative AI, as you'll hear about more over the course of the next 2 days. Decision assistance. How do we help people make smarter decisions? How do we give them the tools that allow them to bring what we value most in our employees, their brains, right? That's what we think is their highest talent quality that they bring to our organizations. The personalization element of that gives them the tooling and the capability to engage with customers on your customers' terms in a way that says, I understand you. I know what you need, and I have products and services that meet those specific needs for you. My business can offer that to you. They want those insights in order to see whether or not there are new opportunities, new products that make more sense for them. Your employees want to be able to engage with customers and offer that kind of service. When it comes to optimization, automation is really critically important for this. 70% of the work, again. That's an enormous amount of weight that the organization is carrying around. And we've been carrying that around now for decades, and in some cases, really, for some of your organizations, centuries, that this industry is operating in a lot of the same way. So what do we have to do? We have to make this frictionless. We need to reduce the complexity of the way that these businesses operate. We get scale out of reduction in complexity. We have to upskill this talent base to give them the tooling to feel like they are also evolving as the organization evolves, as the technology evolves. I hear the question quite a lot from customers. Does this mean that my job is going to go away for employees? And my answer to that is no. You know, some things possibly, maybe the things that we like to do the least. But really what this does is democratize the upscaled capabilities that they all have. Think about it. Empowering each of your employees with automation and intelligence gives them all the ability to perform at a new level. As I like to say, high waters really lift all boats. And you can do this now at enterprise scale. This needs to transform from niche utility in the organization that's here to address a process that might have a couple of inefficiencies over here or over there. Thinking about the way that you optimize your enterprise is really an end-to-end issue that's going to drive the way that you achieve strategy for all of the important objectives that you have for your organization. These are key metrics that are tracked by your business owners. These are key metrics that are also tracked by your board. And last but not least, trust and security. We're a regulated industry. Financial services regulated industry. This bar is a high bar to meet. And it's there for good reason. We have a responsibility to do this in a way that suggests that we're secure, that we are respecting the privacy of the customers and the employees that we work with. We need to make sure that as we introduce this new technology and automate with it, that we're doing it in a way that's fair. We want to make sure that we're not introducing things like bias into the equation. And so it's a critical component of what you need to think about as you think about optimizing your business. One of the ways that we like to think about that in UiPath is the idea of keeping the human in that loop. The human doesn't go away in this new business paradigm. It becomes really important. Just the focus of what they do is what changes. We need those people to think, is this right? Did these models give me the right answer? Is this really the best outcome for the customer? Is this really the best outcome for the business that I can drive? And so keeping the humans in the loop of those processes becomes critically important to being able to achieve that. And lastly, look at the way that you're using the data that's backing all of these new AI technologies that are coming in here. Are we choosing data sets that make sense to drive the outcomes that we need? Are we evaluating the outcomes of those models to say, is this fair? Have I inherently built something into this that I need to rethink? Keeping those principles in mind is the way that you start to create that foundation of trust. It really does come back to trust. Insurance is a trust-built business. And so coming back, 3 critical important components to driving the next paradigm for insurance. Optimize. Take that inefficiency out. Reduce the weight, the heaviness of having all of that manually intensive process across your business. Introduce the intelligence that gives people the tooling to think smarter, to make smarter decisions, to make smarter recommendations for customers, to create smarter products, to create products that are dynamic, that speak to what that particular individual and that customer needs. And lastly, do this in the most secure and trusted way. With those 3 components together, you will reinvent yourself into a business that not only was relevant in the last decade and the decade before, but that will continue to be relevant as you look towards your future. And so, in closing today, this blueprint here is really about the way that drives differentiation. That's what we're looking for, right? How do we set ourselves apart? There are hundreds of insurers, hundreds here in Europe, even more around the world. McKinsey had some impressive statistics out there around the distribution of how these companies are performing. So how do you set yourselves apart? This is one of the ways that's going to achieve that. This is one of the ways it's going to delight, really, all 3 of those stakeholders together. So what's my call to action to you? You have a lot of choices on where you can invest. You have to think about ways that maximize your employee experience. You have to think about ways that introduce some of the most state-of-the-art technologies into the way that your business operates. My bold suggestion is this: look inward. Start by disrupting your own businesses. Start by focusing on automating that enterprise end to end. Start by making yourselves lean, efficient, cutting out the unnecessary work that's there, automating the work that needs to be there. This is going to give you the foundation, the lean, efficient foundation that you're going to need in order to maximize the potential that you have to create business models and emerging technologies that are going to drive the next generation of insurance for the world. So, what I'd like is for you to take a moment and scan the QR code that's up there. That's going to allow you to see a lot of different information about what UiPath can do to support you in your journey. This journey will help you discover where the opportunities exist in your organization. This is going to help you understand what tools and capabilities exist to offer all of the things that I've talked about today: automation components, intelligence components, and then all the way through to execution and doing this in automated, repetitive, and safe ways. I'd also encourage you to visit our booth, which is just located outside of this nice room that we had here with some refreshments. And then the discussion doesn't stop today. Continue to engage with us. We'd love to sit down with you and talk about how to get started with this multi-horizon journey for your company, how to infuse this into your key strategic initiatives and imperatives that you have across your organization. So with that, I say thank you for having me this afternoon. I look forward to seeing hopefully all of you, as we wrap here today. Enjoy the rest of the event. Thank you.